Alright, so we are here in person for another Culz Interviews. And we're back in Sedalia. You guys should know because we did a Culz vlog here, and that's how we actually met the band we're going to talk to today. So I will turn it over to them because you guys can hear me talk plenty, but we want to showcase them today. So you want to just kick off and let everybody know who you guys are?
So we're the Mountain Ranch Band. My name's Jeff, and I guess I could just have my family introduce themselves.
I'm Kara.
I'm Jamie. You do it at the same time. You go first.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Jamin.
Evan. Ellie.
Jeffrey.
And they're twins, so that's why they're so similar. Same, style hat and shirt and everything. Twins like to do.
Hey, you got a match. Yeah, so we actually saw you up here doing the Mountain Ranch Folk Festival a couple weeks back now. But how long have you guys been out as a band playing, I guess, in public?
Well, it kind of started back in 2019 is when we started playing out more. I mean, we'd been playing music together at church some, but that's when we started finding other venues to play. And so yeah, it's been about 6 years, and the last 2 or 3 years is when things have started to pick up a little bit, and so we've been really enjoying we're a ranch, as you might expect from the name, so we're kind of doing a little less ranching and a little more music, and that feels pretty good.
Right. It's the dream of a lot of people to go out and be able to, be in a band and actually be successful. Who was like your inspiration? Like, if you could think of somebody that got you wanting to go down that path, who would it be?
Well, I guess early on it was a group called Switchfoot. It's a surfer band out in California, and liked their stuff. Thought they were really unique, so kind of began to light that fire. How about anybody else? Any other
bands that inspired us?
When did you know you wanted to be in a band? When you saw Live Oak back in the day?
Yeah. That was his band.
So it was wasn't it your first concert?
College? That was college.
Yeah. So she saw my band play at the Bluebird Theater on Colfax when we were in high school.
Okay.
And that's when she knew she wanted to be
in a band.
That's right, and she had to get married to a band member, so.
And the rest is history, as I say, right?
Then we had to make a band, so we did.
What about the rest of you guys? Like, any inspirations, or who do you listen to today?
Well, I mean, we like to talk to other musicians who, play in the same sort of concerts we play, so like the Hillbilly Aliens who were here at the festival, and then a couple other musicians. We just like to talk to them and see some of their styles they like to listen to, and then we'll usually we kind of skip around through a bunch of different types of music. We don't usually stick with a band for years and years and just listen to that all the time, but like it's fun listening to gypsy jazz every now and again. And this
Django, you heard any Django?
Mm-mm.
So he was a gypsy, and he was in this fire in his little gypsy house. What was it, a trailer caravan? So he burnt his fingers so bad he could only play with 3. But he got way better when he only used 3 fingers. He got his own style, and now like a lot of jazz players will copy what he does. Mm-hmm. The family listens to Louis Armstrong at home. Mm-hmm. A lot of his stuff is just really happy, good stuff.
Yeah, I like jazz myself. I've been to a couple jazz bars in New York, and they'll just have local people come in and play, and it's so, I don't know, something about it, just it's fun.
Agreed.
This Brazilian guy, Joao is this guy who's really skilled with the guitar, and he has some fun rhythms. It's we don't listen to him all the time, but every now and again it's fun to get some of the rhythmic ideas and some of the neat chords he plays.
Sort of the father of bossa nova.
Okay.
So really chill, love songs, you know, just kind of whispering on the mic.
But they're all in Portuguese, so it's you can pick up some of it, but you can't pick up. We can't pick up too much because we don't know Portuguese.
You know Portuguese?
I do not. I know Greek, so if it was Greek, I could help a
Nice.
little bit. Yeah, no, I mean, I've tried that with film. I watch a lot of foreign cinema, and it's just hard to, like, I don't know, me and my buddy Jarrell were, like, just trying to watch it without the subtitles, and you'll go, and you're like, I think I can kind of understand what someone's like 60%. Sometimes it's harder. You put on the subtitles, and you're like, no, I don't know what's going on.
Right. So do you know what Lego means
Lego?
in Greek?
No.
Lego means say, which I thought was
Say?
really cool because, you know, basically every word you say is a brick you lay, you know?
Yeah.
So your podcasts, the music we sing, it's just invisible going out into the air, but you're building
Metaphor.
culture
Yeah.
as you go along because words go into people's hearts and minds and they change them.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree there.
So
See,
next time you're playing Legos.
Lego my ego, right?
That's right.
Yeah, no, the one I could say is, or at least share, one of them is the Tacanas.
Okay.
And it's just a greeting, so like, how are you?
Right.
All right, so you guys all play instruments of some sort. What made you maybe choose the instrument you chose, and do you enjoy playing it, or is there another one that you're kind of like, if I really get a chance, like, this is where I would go?
Thoughts? Andrew, you want to start us off?
Well, I pretty much decided I wanted a little uke banjo, so we were like going to like different music shops, and like all of them were like crappy, like plastic banjos, and we're like, these are not great. So we looked online and we found like normal banjo but tiny, and they tuned like a uke.
That's how it all began.
And then I got an older one that was 1931. So.
Kara?
I play the cello because Laura, the president of the schoolhouse, donated one to our family.
Thanks,
and
Laura.
So I picked it up, and it's great. I've always loved the cello, but I never thought I'd play one. I thought it would be too hard, but it's been challenging, but it's been fun. It's getting more fun as I'm getting a little better.
I had secretly always hoped you'd play the cello.
It worked out perfectly.
Seemed like they were made for each other. Evan?
Well,
He's all over the
when
place.
I was 2 years old, I guess I was strumming on a uke with one string and for people, and so that Daddy's like, oh, you're a uke. and then it was not. Then I grew out of it, and then
Right.
Dad had a mandolin, and so I thought, well, this would be fun to pick that up. And then I always like looking at instruments, so I picked a few smaller ones.
What's your goal? He was saying, is there one you could learn that you really want to learn in the future, like like the kazoo or maybe the sousaphone, something in the horizon there?
It's hard to say.
More accordion?
Find the one that speaks to you.
Right.
The didgeridoo, you know?
I have a friend that plays the didgeridoo.
Do you really?
He's got like 6 of them,
That's awesome.
and he can wail on those things. So maybe we'll have him do a guest appearance at our show on the 23rd.
That would be cool.
Guest appearance of the didgeridoo.
That'd be sweet.
Very awesome. I know I've always been inclined to music, as is anyone else. My talents are in the car or in the shower when no one else can hear,
Yes.
and I think I
I
sound
like
like
it.
a rock star.
You
And
probably do.
you go to a karaoke night, and people are like, "Yeah, that guy made us have another drink because we need to drown it out." But
Just help the bars.
do you all like to sing? Some of you just like, "Oh, no way, that's just too much. Playing an instrument is good enough," or
We pretty much all sing. I don't know if they all like to sing, but I kind of had them sing.
I do.
Anybody not like singing? I think we're okay now. I mean,
it's good to see.
There are times when it's uncomfortable. But
yeah.
I think it's to that
You're
audience
sick.
size, right? The bigger it gets, it's like, oh man, this is.
Right. And we're hoping I mean, one of our main goals is to be together as a family, and people use the word harmony a lot just to describe life that fits together well. And so what we want to share with our community is that being together as a family is kind of a neat thing. It's a lot of times people want their kids off at daycare, or they're really happy when they go back to school because they don't. There's a load off the mind, and certainly kids are a big responsibility. But what we hope is that our vocals, our harmonies, can symbolically represent what families can be. Sometimes there's dissonance, and that can be beautiful too, because it can teach you that through conflict and through disagreement, we can actually figure some things out. So that's and I'll just say we mostly learned harmonies because we like the sound of them. But now that we're singing them, I can say all those fancy things about family and community. So.
You grew up in a bigger city, right? Or you moved to the country, and just did that help maybe inspire more musical of the genre you selected, or the type of music, or were you already kind of like in love with that music and that's what you were going to do?
Yeah, I think the move was definitely a song maker. So when we were thinking of moving, and we were living in the city, it was a big deal for us, and there were some really strong convictions that it was a calling for us, and it took a lot of sacrifice. And so, like, one song that I wrote talks about throwing my life overboard was the best thing I've ever done. And I wrote that before I actually did throw my life overboard. And I don't mean just throwing my stuff out, because there was a lot of that, because we went from a big house to a small house. But it's almost like I threw my whole self out of the boat, and because it was a big change. And then one of the songs that we do a lot is one that I wrote just sitting outside in the forest. And certainly nature has been a really strong driving force for us. And but the style, because you're asking about style, the style kind of, I was sort of already beginning to use that style, probably just because Kara and I would throw the kids on our back or behind us in a cart while we're riding bikes, and we were hiking like every day or every other day, just because we felt drawn to somewhere where we could see more trees and animals and things, and then of course starting our own ranch was definitely a major focus, and certainly a lot of songs poured out of that. A lot of songs.
So where has been like one of the most memorable places you've already played at?
Well, we love playing for New City Church. It's this church in Highlands Ranch, and they do a big festival, and lots of people come out to it. And it was one of the first, sort of larger groups that we played for, and just a lot of good people there, a lot of fun activities, and it's a whole weekend, so it's we set up sound for them this year, and we've done it 2 years, and so we set up sound for them and their group, and then we do music the next day, and so that might be one of my favorites. Any of you think of anything? I love playing backyard parties and house parties and things like that as well. There's a lady down the road, and she was going through a tough time with some surgeries, and she had a group come for her birthday, I believe, and we sang in that house. It has a nice vaulted ceiling, so that's on the smaller side, but it's really all about the people, more than like what the setting is. I mean, Red Rocks would be great, but I'm sure there'd be some pretty sweet people there too if it was filled. But we just it can be a group of like 15, 20 people, but if everybody's into the music and there's a connection, I mean, that's what music is supposed to be, is a connection. And you're transferring information, and it's sort of wild how much can go back and forth. And even, you know, we have just a little farm here, and people will stop off and, you know, get some eggs or whatever. And a lot of times we'll do an impromptu song or two for them. So, you know, if you swing by the ranch, you might get a free song or two, and you won't even have to book us. So,
Or you can learn, then book for a future event.
yeah, get a little taste. It's sort of like samples at Costco.
Right.
Once you've had a bite, you're going to want the whole concert.
That is their tactic, and they do that well. So what would be a good, like you mentioned Red Rock, so what would be a next like short-term one that you would like to go to?
You can go like I was saying. It's about there is a mystery to the connection between an audience and a performer, and I've seen huge concerts where that connection was not successfully made, and you might as well not be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can be at a really small venue, you know, like the Fox Theater or the Bluebird or whatever, and it's small, but the performer's putting it out and the people are picking it up and it's going back and forth and it's beautiful. So, I mean, I can't say that I have a specific next step goal. I'd love to play some of those smaller venues. We also play churches from time to time, like I was saying, this New City Church Festival. So, yeah, I can't say that I have a specific. The Fillmore's a pretty good spot too, and that's a little smaller than Red Rocks.
The Fillmore that's one of my favorite spots to go see bands at.
Oh yeah, it is a really good one.
I saw Ben Folds play there. He was somewhat of an inspiration as well. Some of his music is pretty choice, and he played the Fillmore. It was a pretty good show.
And then even just like hosting our own events is pretty fun too. It's a little bit more tricky with our property because we want to have some sort of insurance thing, but just it'd be fun to see that sort of blossom into something that, you know, feels right. I mean, what this growth that's been happening has been really about the right pace too, because if you start way too big,
You get nervous.
you get nervous and you get all these people that, you know, you might have expectations that you won't meet. You never know where it could go, and it'd be fun to see the possibilities of that option too.
So yeah, maybe along that path there'll be an Open Arms Farm. That's what we call our farm. Open Arms Farm concert once we drum up a little cash to pay for some insurance, and I can picture that, people being on site, seeing the work we do midweek, moving sheep and goats around and taking care of chickens and ducks and the gardens. It'd be fun to do kind of like a garden concert, and sort of like Fiddler's Green,
Yeah.
minus 1,000.
That's fair.
I mean, I was kind of picturing the Littleton Museum,
Oh,
because people love that. I mean, I think that would be a
Cool.
cool one.
Good call. I like it.
Also, like James Townsend, Josh Slatton, the Billy the Kid Historical Coalition, if you're listening, I mean, book 'em.
no, absolutely. That's a good one. The last one that I have is, out of some of the artists that you would like to open for.
Man,
We joked about opening for Joel Ansett.
yeah. There's a singer-songwriter, Joel Ansett, and he's got some really neat stuff. And he just recently played at my brother's house. So even though he's sort of begun to lift off and get a lot of listens and followers, he still plays backyard kind of things. My brother has a pretty large backyard, so he hosted him. He'd be fun to play with. Yeah.
That same sort of range. He's a little bit more popular, but
Absolutely, Josh Garrels would be a great a good fit. He's got some pretty chill music, but also some more upbeat things. And he uses a lot of performance forces, a lot of strings. He uses he's acoustic, kind of the folk side of things. Yeah. Some of the groups that I used to listen to don't exist anymore, like Nickel Creek and some of the it's true. Not everything good lasts forever. Sophomore album is usually the one that's really hard, because like if you look at a show that we'll play, I've got songs that are like from 15, 16 years ago, and I'm still using them because I know they're the ones that people like. So you're sort of going through the years when you're not playing for a lot of people, and you're testing a song, and okay, this one's good. Oh, nobody liked that one. We'll throw that one away. And then, so usually the first album has it's like a greatest hits album, and so people love it, and then you're like, oh no, and then you have all this anxiety building because you're like, we have to deliver again, and I've only got like a year to pull it through. And so like you were saying, there can be some, even once you start making money, which isn't, we really would be happy if we just stayed where we are, but it's always fun to kind of look down the road and say, well, maybe.
Yeah, you just
We'll see.
can't get distracted by that money with like the actual hobby or just the fun of it.
Right?
Yeah, sometimes the money's not worth it.
No,
Uh-huh.
it ain't. Cause
So now, obviously, school's not out for the summer. It's back in. We're going to talk music, though, and learning music. What is the best way that you guys have found to learn music personally?
Good question. Listening to Dad's advice. I just do what I'm told. Yeah, I guess we all have our own different styles of learning.
What about you? How do you like to learn?
Well, you definitely can't sit down and try and force it into your head for too long. I'd say you take it in bite-sized pieces, but certainly you have, if you're sitting down and you want to progress, you have to be inspired. Otherwise, you have to, goal setting is one thing, but if you, like he was saying, if you hear someone or you hear something in your head, and I think obviously it has to start somewhere, but it gets, once you learn a few chords, you can start going somewhere, and then you just you say, I want to learn this type of melody or scale or something, and then you just kind of sit with it for a while. Once your head starts to get a little hot, then quit and try it again next day.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because there's a really theoretical way to approach it, and then there's also the feeling side. And I have made the mistake sometimes with, there are different people learn different ways. Some people just feel it from the beginning, and if you throw theory at them, like, okay, let's count it out, and like I was in choir, and you can actually sing on the counts. So you're singing on 1 and 2, and you say T because it's easier than saying 3. It's more accurate timing-wise. So it's very precise, and it's very theoretical. And you can talk chords, you can talk scales, but sometimes some people just absorb it better. And so it's been, and sometimes you need to use both. So like you'll start with the theory, and we'll count it out until I can see their heads are getting hot, and then I'll be like, okay, let's just feel it and let's just jam it. Repetition is everything. And something, it's like magic. You can sit down and try and play something, like for a lot of people, piano can be one of the hardest because your fingers are moving in different directions. And you sit down and you're like, takes you maybe 5 minutes from one chord to the next. And then you sit down a week later and something happened, and your fingers all have like their own little brains, and they can find where so muscle memory can be, but it's almost more than that. It's like, it seems it seems unreal that something could have happened when you weren't actually practicing, but you come back and those neurons somehow retained some of the information and you're able to build on it and put that next layer on. And of course everybody plays instruments that are different, and sometimes they're instruments I haven't played. I went to music school, but I haven't played all these instruments, so that's the beauty of the internet, is that you can, like most of their technique and how to be relaxed on like a cello or an upright bass, I don't have that skill set.
Yeah, it's really weird too how you know, music is a gifting, because you'd think if it's all pretty mathematical, people would be able to figure it out, but it certainly is something that you can't force.
Some people have really good rhythm, just natural. So that's why I have him play the box, you know, the cajon, because he was born with quite a bit of rhythm. And, you know, Ellie does her notes fast. She can read stuff and she finds the places quickly. So everybody's got different skill sets.
Yeah.
Well, continuing with the learning aspect, what has been the most challenging instrument to learn?
For me personally,
All of
the
it.
violin was quite a challenge. Definitely, that thing likes to squeak, so.
It's really hard for me to sing and play the bass, and a lot of times the songs sort of need it. And so that's been a little bit challenging. And bowing is also a little bit, you know, can be a little bit tricky. It's easy for some of the slow songs, but getting a really good tone from the bow is a lot harder than getting a good tone from just plucking, even if it's still, you know, easy to keep it in tune or whatever.
The oboe is something I'll have to come back to.
Yeah.
I'll let it sit for a little while.
Double-reeded instruments are no joke, especially squeaky ones. Anything squeaky takes a little time.
Yeah, so my daughter, we just got her a violin, so we'll see how it goes.
She can do it. She can do it. Keep with it. I saw somebody playing the saw the other day. You ever seen that? There's this group, and she's bowing the saw.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I was like, wasn't sure.
Elephant Revival is the name of the group, and somebody I know just showed me a video the other day. And it sounds kind of cool.
It definitely has the sound of its own, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to know you guys a little bit outside of music. What is your favorite place to be outdoors in Colorado?
I haven't really been much off the property, but I love playing at the schoolhouse. Even I know it's not a musical question, but it's really fun. Like we've gone to a few, you know, like birthday parties and stuff, but just music is such a fun way to celebrate, and this is just a fun place. The trees, the grass, you know, just the expanse of, you know, acreage around without hardly any houses is pretty fun.
Yeah, without a lot of pollution just coming in. And, I mean, just being out in nature is, I think, key. We do a lot of stuff outdoors, so I love it.
Absolutely. And
I think just anywhere where it's not too hot.
Yeah.
Usually, because we have some places on our property that stay pretty cool, and it's great to be down there sometimes. But
Jeffrey won't remember this, but Estes Park, some pretty cool camp spots there. And there are also some big elk herds. And I remember seeing just huge swath of over 100 elk and stepping out of the car and going over the fence, and Kara's getting a little scared. But, you know, that many animals of that size, and Estes Park has some beautiful spots, for sure. And there's a little place up there, the Baldpate Inn. If you're getting rained out on one of your camping trips, that's where we would go, to the Baldpate Inn. super old, like this schoolhouse, and they've got like, since you guys like history, there's just rows and rows of keys. Have you ever been?
Mm-mm.
So there are like all super old keys that have the little, you know, doodads coming down, and they have a huge key collection, and you know, a lot of history. They have little notes on all the keys. So that's a pretty. It's got little cabins stuck in the woods, and yeah, to find yourself a nice creek and some wildflowers, and life's good.
Yeah. I'd say probably, realistically though, my favorite spot in Colorado is just our property, because there's so many options of what I can do if I want to, you know, have fun or just relax and take in, you know, what God has given us through creation. So I just like the versatility of, you know, just being able to do whatever I want. If I feel like riding a bike, I can, you know, pedal up a hill or whatever, and if I feel like chilling out with one of the animals, like a, you know, cat or a dog or
We just gotta hang some more hammocks. You know, we had a couple of hammocks, but we worn through them. So
Yeah.
time to restock.
Right.
Weather does that.
Weather and use, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hammocks are great. I was gonna say, if you guys haven't been, Mount Falcon Park is super cool.
We have
I love it. The old lighthouse up there, and
super
the
cool.
castle ruins.
We have definitely. That's one of the hikes because we live super close to Mount Falcon, so
Okay.
it was like the closest hike because we were at Sims and Bellevue, so we would just head out and we like Red Rocks or Mount Falcon, and you're right. Those are great hikes.
Yeah. Well, if you were to take a trip right now to a location that you think could inspire a song, where would you go?
You know,
Money's not an option, so wherever you want to go.
for some reason, I think maybe far south, like South America somewhere,
Okay.
like in the Andes or some other mountain places. Is that or maybe way far up north? You know, so one of the extremes would be kind of cool. Alaska would, I think, would be pretty nice. Maybe Norway. There's some Norwegian in me, so that'd be kind of fun.
Okay.
Any other thoughts, Kara?
Well, these two are, love to study the world, so you guys have a place.
I grew up in Mexico too, so I love the beach, but for some reason it seems like, I don't know, our music isn't very beachy anymore. You know, I think it would probably be another mountain area. And I've always, like Peru area,
Peru, yeah.
or Chile, you know, in the mountain. I've seen some pretty cool, there's like a motorcycle movie about these guys riding through the mountains in Chile.
Yeah, see, I've always wanted to go to Bolivia, because we're big in Western history, so obviously Butch Cassidy and Sundance down there, so it'd be fun.
Heck yeah.
I have no idea. Inspiring a song is something that usually involves something
Unexpected.
Well, yeah, and I heard Costa Rica has like the most birds of any place in the world, so I guess that'd probably be pretty inspirational.
musical, all the birds.
If you're inspiring a song, you know,
Right.
know where there's naturally some of that happening, and they might trigger. You know,
He's writing a song that incorporates bird tones.
Okay.
So we were gonna try and get it ready for this concert, but it's probably gonna be a little down the road. But yeah, in the classical world, there's this guy named Messiaen, and he cataloged like thousands of bird songs and like transcribed them, and then he put it into music, and it's like symphonies and things like that. I don't know if they're officially symphonies or what they were, but I forget. But I will say, when you listen to the song, sometimes it sounds like birds, but sometimes it just sounds like really angst.
It's like a genius, but he must have had something wrong because they were definitely, they'd like play the bird and they'd play his dome. I'm like, I could do a better job with some of those things.
I guess, but you said to choose one thing, and I told you like 8 options, right? How about Scotland?
Scotland.
I think I can write something on Scotland.
Oh,
We'll go with Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland would be cool. Ireland. I see. I want to go to Ireland to kayak with basking sharks. So that's not music related, but I think that'd be pretty cool.
Well, and my last name is Ayres, so our last name is Ayres, and that means song in Old England. So in Old English, the word Ayres means song. So that's how I knew I was on the right track.
Right. It was born in your blood already.
It's flowing.
have you ever had any like musical ideas that like slipped away because you didn't have like something nearby?
Yes, definitely so. And I was kicking myself, you know. And it's when it hits you, sometimes you'll get something that's almost a complete song, and it's so clear that you're like, I'll never forget this. There's no way. But I have lost probably 10 songs just because of the stupidity of thinking that it will stay. It doesn't stay. It goes away if you don't. So now I'm like, as soon as it hits, I'm like running for the pad, you know, to write it down. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I remember he wrote a song to James 3, and I only remember a couple parts of it. I tried to learn it before it disappeared, but I guess my efforts were good enough because
He sang it for all of us, and we tried to memorize it, but it slipped. It's
Yeah.
gone.
that was the saddest one for me, but it's not one that I wrote.
But sometimes, if you have the lyrics, you go back to it,
You know,
you can write something else.
You know what? He might be better at getting it back than me, since he wrote it after all.
to kind of play off his, have you ever had an idea come to you like in a dream?
Nice.
I'm gonna have to think about that. Have I even been dream related?
Well, I wrote.
Yeah, he just.
Well, yeah, we're gonna play one of my songs. This coming one, the 23rd. It's called "Night Is a Time for Dreaming," and I did write it in bed. But there are melodies that I have kept that I wrote in dreams, like in my book. I'm gonna finish at one point. At some point, I wrote a group of harmonies and melodies that were completely from a dream, and
Yeah.
so
I remember that.
it doesn't have a title. I called it Mahu's Dream because Mahu is one of the characters in the book. But yeah, I definitely like doing that.
That question is really sort of profound, and it's funny that you asked it because actually we have 2 songs that we're hoping to introduce. So his song we haven't practiced as a family yet, so we're going to start with it tomorrow. But there's another song that we're doing, and that one, the words, I think to the chorus, might have been a verse. It was a verse. It really wasn't clicking. It was dumb. And he was showing me it was dumb. Jamin always lets me know if a song is not up to snuff, because I'll look over and he doesn't want me to see his face because he's like ashamed of me. He says, well, so he's like, no, don't look at me. I don't like it, it's a bad song. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to take it personally. I've written a lot of bad songs. So, you know, I was kind of thinking about it when I went to sleep. And I think that's a lot of the times where you see it in your dreams where like, sometimes things don't even go together, but you thought about them during the day and then they like turn into this weird animal in your dream that doesn't belong together. But the words to the verse of that song, some of them came to me in my dreams. So and it doesn't happen a lot, so it's kind of cool that you asked that question.
Yeah, I just thought it because like I've had it where I have ideas that sometimes I'll remember that have come to me in dreams, and other times I'm like, it was really cool, but I have no idea what it was now.
They totally slip.
Yeah, they slip so quick. Sorry, I jumped in. I'm bad at that.
That's totally fine. That was a great question.
Yes, catalog your dreams in the morning if they're still there.
Yeah, I keep you up at by there.
Yeah, just by the bed. We wake up in the middle of it, write it down real quick.
This isn't related to music, but it's funny because in the winter I have to stock the fire in the middle of the night, and sometimes I have to stock quite a bit, like multiple times throughout the night, and dreams can be one of the most counterproductive things when you're doing that, because you're like, yeah, I stocked it this time and it wasn't really a dream, and like my dream and my reality are very mixed up. I wake up, I don't know what to think. Your house is cold now.
And in reality, you're sleeping, but you really have to go to the bathroom, right? and you don't want to get out of bed though, and then your dream begins to incorporate that sensation. And in your dream, you're walking down the hallway, and you find the bathroom, you find the bathroom. When you're a kid, I've done this recently. And then you're like, ah, and then you're like, ah. I'm kind of wet right now.
Yep. I'm telling you. Has some of your songs been created from just a straight jam session where you just like start something and then you're just like, we might have something here?
Yes, trying to think of a specific, maybe not as a family, but some of the songs we play come from previous band explorations. I think jam composition is great. We haven't done a lot as a family, so that's actually a good challenge reminder that we should do that, because it is much more. It's so collaborative that you're going to get way more of a balanced composition process. Because if I write the lyrics, the melody, and the chord structure, and then present it to the group and start weaving things in, a lot of times it's limited by that original track, of thought.
Because you don't want to like throw away your original thought, but then it also doesn't quite fit with the group always. So.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be jamming in my head with all the different parts and start, because a lot of times since we have a farm, you have to work and think at the same time. And so, so I'll be like moving fences, taking animals from one place to another, hacking weeds, whatever it might be, and I'll be trying to compose different parts and kind of singing it and letting it run through my head. But that's not really a jam when it's just yourself. So
yeah, it's actually been like the more improv ideas actually been one of our goals that we haven't really quite, we can do it, but we haven't really quite dialed it in yet. And so this the song that we're working on, my dad just wrote, we've actually been trying to practice that more, like the improv thing where someone takes it and another person takes it, just with
same chord
progression and stuff. So
no dictation, just everybody's got to come up with their own thoughts.
And that's been really fun, but it's definitely something I'm not used to. So maybe in the future, when we put some more intentionality into that avenue, we might come up with something.
I'll do one more and then let Matt go, but you were mentioning that some of the songs have just been like KO'd essentially, but do you set them aside and then revisit them at a later point, or if you like at some point think of something that can just be like, what if we put it here and then just like brought it back to the table?
Right.
A lot of songs like to be aged.
Yes.
Aged like fine wine.
Once they get a 2 KO, it's hard to bring it back. But there have been songs, and as long as there are lyrics written somewhere, I tend to like to write songs with a pen or a pencil and paper. Something about going over to the computer and typing like messes up the process for me personally. So I only will type a song after it's kind of the idea is put down. And so a lot of times I'll be flipping through old spiral bound, and I'll see something. That could be something.
And there are only so many you can fit in a set too. Like you don't want to put in 100 songs and make people bored. So
Yeah, and like some of the songs we haven't just been like penciled down. I mean, we went to them to like actually recorded a different like version and then changed it. So my dad did like a bunch of Bible memory for us as little kids, like 5, 4, 3 range. So he did those and then recorded them with our out of tune, sporadic, interjection voices. And we were listening to them, and there's like this one set with like a bunch of different verses from a bunch of different passages in the Bible. And the Proverbs of Solomon just sort of stood out from that. So we did a little bit of texture change, and we polished it up a little bit more and added everybody in because the rest of the kids were either babies or non-existent. So that was a real rewarding one to sort of dig up, because those are some of the funnest ones when you can just, when there's this song that you're like, yeah, we hadn't had time back then, but now that we have been sort of more into the music and trying to put new things in, you can either get ideas or just change the texture a little bit.
Yeah, and inspiration, like you've been talking about inspiration through the interview here. If you really feel, if something touches you in your heart, that's the seed, and so we spend a lot of time playing around with songs and really that's why they say music, you should play music, but a lot of times people work music. And same with acting, and that's what I think it's a play, but sometimes it can be stressful if you take it too seriously. And so I think that song grew out of a place where we were just playing. And they remember just shouting it out as kids. And I think we need to allow ourselves the space to make mistakes more often. And then we end up enjoying, because we're, same with the improv stuff we're trying to do. We're trying to work on our improvisation skills. And you have to get used to making those mistakes and growing through that process. So, yeah, those songs are a lot of fun. Listen to the kids shouting and hollering when they were little kids.
And one of our biggest hits was like "Where the Wind Blows," and he performed that before, I'm pretty sure, but not much. So that one sort of got resurrected because we hadn't paid as much attention to it for quite some time. Believe It to See was another one like that, but he performed that one a little bit more, right?
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because you can tell when certain songs just click. The song "Believe It to See" is probably kind of right up your alley in the sense that the phrase is "seeing is believing," right? But it comes to our attention quite regularly that when you believe something, then a lot of times that's when your eyes are opened.
and certainly the spirit world is not going to cast its pearls before swine.
Yeah, so that song has a nice sort of almost like Stevie Wonder kind of groove. Also one of my inspirations as a child, I just loved the rhythm, the pulse of Stevie Wonder's music. Of course, his voice is awesome, incredible. So that song, when we started, dishing out parts and trying to play it, it just happened like right away. It took like one afternoon and everybody was on board. And Where the Wind Blows, yeah, that song I picked for us because I thought it was easy. That's kind of the only reason why I brought it back. And I thought, we'll always start our set with this because it's easy. And then the words began to really draw people's attention. And so when we added more harmonies, we were talking about harmonies earlier, when we threw in the harmony, then the words popped out at people. But then it took, as a performer, like I was saying, you try your songs out on people, and you get like no feedback, or you get bad feedback, or you get really good feedback. And so I noticed along the path that you have to do like a whole set of things. One, the addition of harmony. Obviously you have to write words that people can connect to. But then, when I say the words in the set before we sing them, then they hit. Whereas a lot of times when I didn't, no, they just, because people don't always hear words in songs, or if they do, they hear them as different than they are actually.
Definitely guilty of that.
There have been some funny words down the road. Like I thought certain songs were saying stuff that they definitely were not.
Right.
Or you add stuff in there, and she's like, no, I swear it has this.
Right.
And then you look at it and you're like, it doesn't. Why did I think it was that?
Yeah.
Yep.
But we got good feedback on that song. A lot of people crying on that song, Where the Wind Blows.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do. If I can do anything to sing a song and have somebody in tears, good. We did it. To me, it just seems completely authentic.
Yeah, with
I mean,
emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because most people don't want to cry. So if you can make a grown man cry because you sang a song, usually something happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it tugged on some heartstrings for sure.
And a lot of times it's just seeing the family together. And it's kind of like country music. Country music is like one of the only styles of music that tough guys will listen to and get emotional about, because there's something about it that like, oh, it's country, so I can talk about babies and, kissing my daughter with butterfly kisses. You can't get away with that in like pop, dude. Don't listen to that.
That was my brother when he danced with his daughter, her wedding day, they chose that song.
See? I'm
Did you
telling you.
see how you got teary-eyed dance with him?
Yeah.
You better pick that song. Well, I just got a couple, kind of going off what you were just talking about though. Have you ever had like a song where you're feeling it like, this is gonna be it, this is the one, and it turns out like, it just doesn't hit with nobody? Do you take some like hard remorse to that? Does it hurt? Like, I mean, I'm sure it hurts because that's one that you really felt was gonna go big, and then just to have it not be that.
Right, yeah. I mean, and I think a lot of times my brain operates on wavelengths that a lot of people's brains don't. So I've had to learn to get a little bit thicker skin. And I don't even take it out of the house sometimes. Like I remember when I was younger and I just brought a song that I had crafted, and the poetry was kind of what I put most of it into, but then I really worked. I was listening to this guy, Nick Drake. You know Nick Drake? So he played this song called Pink Moon on the Jetta commercial.
Okay.
And he's this hippie sounding guy that does a lot of finger picking. And his whole career was hidden. And it didn't really go very far, but then when it was resurrected with that Jetta commercial, then all of a sudden people were listening to Nick Drake for a short period of time. I don't think it really went super crazy, but anyway, he had a finger picking style that I was working on. And I had this poem all figured out, and it had a lot of neat imagery, but it was all under the surface. Like you had to kind of read carefully. And I'm like, all right, this song turned out awesome. I'm gonna go play it for my mom. So I played it for her, and she was like, what? What are you saying? Like, it's so confusing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's awesome. And so I realized that music is beautiful, poetry can be intriguing, and also beautiful, but the connection part I began to focus more on making things clear. So a lot of times you can write something that is beautiful, but it's ambiguous or too ethereal, or people can't grab onto it. And but some people can. And what I found out is a lot of times it's just the wrong person. Don't take it personally. And so a lot of times a song is the song for a very small group of people. So I was playing through songs at just a neighborhood barbecue, and got to that song, which I don't play much. Yeah, which I named it Standing in the Cold. But I played it for my neighbor, and he's like, that's my favorite song. But that was probably at least 20 years after I played it for my mom, or something like that. So, but yeah, there have been some songs but most of the time, no. Most of the time it's like, maybe this song's gonna be really cool. And then you're like, yeah, I can see why you don't like it. After you listen to it, most of the time I'm like, yeah, you're right. It does stink. So.
Well, and I think you touched it just right too. It also depends on maybe who sings it or how it's sung, where that emotional connection is made. You know, it just, as you were saying it, I don't know why the Mercy Me song popped in my head, but it was written for somebody else to sing it, and when she was going to, she's like, no, you know what, you sing it, because that's where that emotional connection with the words came, and it became a big song.
Right.
But I think, you know, that, like, who sings it, how it's sung, can also really hit the nerve too.
Yeah, and what your audience is looking for, like what your audience comes expecting. Like I remember you said TV talk, you had an experience with these people who were like evaluating for like competition. It's just not that type of a song or something.
Yeah, I don't have any intention of playing that song again.
But at the time you liked it, right?
Yeah. But I think basically they were right.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the ones where I'm like, yeah, I don't need to do that song anymore. But then there are songs, most of the time, if I know a song is good, it really is. Like the one about moving here, I wrote that in probably 5 minutes because it was born out of tension. I was conflicted. There were people saying that what we were going to do, living in a yurt, leaving everything behind, they thought we were crazy, and it was making me upset. And I'm like, no, it's the best thing I've ever done, even though I hadn't done it yet. So that one came out real fast, and it came out very enthusiastic, and it was well received from the beginning. So I think usually you can tell. I think your pride is the only thing that keeps you from seeing when things are poop, because you're like, oh no, I'm good now. I've been writing for so many years. It's good. All my songs are good. And you're like, no. There were years where I wrote nothing but trash, and that was mostly because I was living the wrong way. So took big chances, and then I was kind of stuck in over-busyness and stuck in overworking, and I just had nothing left. There was no juice left in the fruit. I was squeezing it, and it was like, you got maybe a drop.
Well, we all get better with practice. You know, I go back and watch some of our older videos, and I'm like, wow, I'm a lot better now than I was. But back then, I was like, oh, I'm doing a pretty good job. Man.
Yeah.
So,
pride, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to see ourselves as better than we are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good. And it's easy to see ourselves as worse than we are.
Yeah, I'm definitely my worst critic.
We need that balance, right?
Yeah.
Where is the reality? Don't hate yourself. Don't love yourself too much. Find that middle ground.
And a lot of times that middle ground is like turning the focus away from yourself, because you're like, should I be really down on myself for this, or should I be really impressed with myself? And a lot of times the answer isn't by looking at that, but by looking somewhere else, and that's like looking to God for the things that He has shown us, and just sometimes it's good to take a break from just being, self-absorbed, Take a break from being self-absorbed. And
I spend 80% of my time being self-absorbed, but a little 20% here. It's ironic, but if you pour into others, you end up feeling much more fulfilled yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And talking. A lot of times we talk about how the things that we think, would be something that makes us less successful, make us more successful, because when you pour into somebody else, a lot of times you just get blessings in ways you haven't expected, which is always a lot funner than having to work and work and work to that prize, and then when you get there, you're like, was it worth all that?
Right. Yeah, sometimes life, we've talked about that. We'll go do something and it's just completely changed the trajectory. So,
Happened a couple times.
And we're talking about music and musicians. How many musicians have stable and admirable lives?
Yeah, now that you said that,
It's really messed up, right?
Yeah.
And so our goal is to not be that. Let's keep the life part going and see what happens with the music.
Well, outside of music, I guess last kind of question. What are your hobbies outside of music? What do you guys really enjoy to do?
I love gardening. It blows my mind. You can take a little seed, and if it gets in the right soil with the right amount of water and sun, it's really sort of miraculous what can happen, and how fast plants can grow. And there's no machinery involved, and they heal themselves. We have a squash plant that's over 50 feet long.
Oh, wow.
And it just went in the ground as a seed sometime in April, and the next thing you know, it's growing several feet a day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
It's incredible.
it wasn't even one that we planted on purpose, it just fell.
Right.
I was like, I wonder if it's worth keeping that one. And I guess it was, so.
Yeah.
Most of the things that turn out good in our lives are usually just gifts like that, You don't always, that way you're not patting yourself on the back. But gardening is definitely something that calms me down too. If I'm just out watering the garden and trellising tomatoes and stuff. But I don't know why, but I like the smell of dirt too, so I guess that's why I'm a farmer.
I've been making cheese in
Cheese.
my hobbit house, and
Salami.
and I guess I'm surprised at the fact that we're using really good milk because it all comes from the grass growing around. So, but I still was surprised at how not only rewarding the flavors of those cheeses are that you make with your own hands, but also that they're really unique and that there's something there. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When I think of hobbies, I think of all the work I do on the farm. I'm like, well, I guess that's not a hobby because it's productive. So I guess one of the hobbies that isn't productive yet is I just love to read, and I've been just writing a book for fun. I don't know if I'll ever go anywhere with it, but it's really fun to do that, and it also opens new avenues in your mind.
He's got a language hobby too. He likes
Oh,
to
yeah.
wander around listening to foreign languages of many sorts and learn them, so I like it.
Greek's one of my favorites.
I love Greek too.
Yeah.
Ellie,
also do prosciutto.
hobbies? Taking care of bunnies,
She makes butter.
butter.
She makes delicious butter.
That's not a hobby. You don't like making butter.
She likes it. cheating, but sometimes
We
you
did
shake it in
try
the
it.
jar.
Shaking it.
We tried and we tried.
It's a tactic,
Oh,
it doesn't
man.
work. It's wild.
We did it that
First
summer,
year.
this summer with the kids, we did not science, but just showed them how putting buttermilk in a jar and just shaking rapidly, how all of a sudden it separated and so you guys just made butter. He's like, what?
It's just a lot harder when you're doing, like,
Okay, mass quantity.
however many gallons of milk into butter, so.
We must have had something wrong, because we were shaking and shaking, it wasn't happening.
If I have it, that was before.
We made it happen.
Yeah, sometimes.
Bikes, right? These guys are into bikes, like riding bikes.
I like
Fixing it.
bikes and I like
Like dirt bikes or mountain bikes?
Pedal bikes, you know.
Yeah, all pedal bikes and most of them free.
Woodworking is fun too.
yeah, I like to do projects.
Take your friends' bikes, charge them $5, right? Like, wow, we can fix that, $5. Little entrepreneurship right there.
Yeah. And music counts as a hobby, music outside of music.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for, joining us and talking about your guys' band. And of course, the most pertinent question, where can people find more about you, book you, and do you have any upcoming shows that people can come, listen?
Absolutely. So we do have a website now, and it's www.mountainranchband.com. And we've got songs up there, we've got a couple of videos, we've got another couple. The videos up there are pretty low quality, but we have more videos coming, and the songs were recorded at a studio in town. So hopefully they'll be to your liking. Go to mountainranchband.com and check it out. The shows are posted there. There's one show that's going to be uploaded soon. So but yeah, this August 23rd, come on down to the rain gazing event, which may be a strange name, but every time we called it stargazing, we got rained out. So we just decided to use the reverse approach, and the stars
Reverse
tend to come out,
psychology,
so.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely be there ourselves, so we're looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking with us.
Oh, of course, when we came up the other day, I was like, I really like the music, so I thought it'd be fun. So once again, the entire Culz team wants to say thank you to the Mountain Ranch Band for coming out and talking with us at the old Indian Park School. It was a lot of fun, and definitely make sure, if you're in Colorado and you can get there on August 23rd, come check them out. I think you're going to have a fun time. And also go down to the description below and check them out there, because I'll put all the links below. But until next time, guys, for more Culz interviews, click that link to your left. I believe it is Drunken Cryptids. Super fun chat with another podcaster. For more about us here at Culz Paranormal, click that link to your right. Should be the review of Michael Crichton's Lost World. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and let us know. Have you heard Mountain Ranch Band perform before? Tell us in the comments below.